Monday, July 8th, one of the last weeks we have to suffer through without actual football being played. Training camp somehow, some way. But it's coming. It's coming soon, and we'll get to it. But as the thumbnail suggested, we are going to doom this video to obscurity by actually having the guts to talk about baseball right out of the rip with a baseball thumbnail. Are you ready? I hope so. Like and subscribe to the Damon Bruce Show here on Damon Bruce Plus. It's great to have you here. Welcome on back, or welcome in the first place if you're new here. So if you'd like any more proof that baseball's going through a generational change, a true generational change, we have 32 first-time All-Stars being picked to go to the big gas grill that is in Texas. That baseball stadium looks like the lid to a gas grill. I'm unimpressed with the Rangers Stadium. 19 All-Stars under the age of 27, youth being served everywhere, 32 first-timers. Phillies are sending 7 to the game. That's the most in baseball. The Padres are sending 5 somehow. They're not having a very good year, but the Padres are sending their entire outfield to the All-Star game. Guardians lead the American League with 5 players selected. Maybe that's just why the Giants dumped 2 of 3 in Cleveland. The Giants have a pair of first-time All-Stars. Congratulations to Logan, Webb, and Heliot Ramos. You are All-Stars. Now, Logan Webb probably should have been an All-Star last year had he not taken a turn in the rotation on the day before the All-Star game was played, the final day of the first half, if you will. He's probably on the team, but they knew he wasn't going to pitch, so they left him off the team since he was a fringe. Anyways, congratulations to Logan Webb. Got a 3.09 ERA, a National League high 119 and a third innings under his belt. He's completed his last at least 7 innings 11 times this year, which basically makes him baseball's Iron Man. The guy is a pitcher who pitches like starting pitchers used to pitch. And it's wonderful that he's an All-Star. He certainly deserves it. He is far and away the Giants' ace and best pitcher. Ramos, an advanced stat darling, like if there ever was one. Ramos, he leads, is in the top 10%, not leading, but top 10% of barrel rates and exit velo and hard hit rates and all the stuff that geeks really get off on. Now, if you're more of a traditional stat guy, for somebody who didn't even make his major league debut until the first week of May, in the last 2 months, he's hitting .299 with an .887 OPS and 12 ding-dongs. Like, he's had a hell of a couple of months. So good that they have propelled him to the All-Star game. And congratulations. I mean, it's fantastic. I came at this last night on Twitter basically saying, if it were up to the general manager of the team, the guy wouldn't even be on it. And he wouldn't even be on it. He wouldn't even be on it. And people are making excuses. Well, he identified a few things and sent him back to AAA to figure it out. No. Farhan jerks everybody's chain around. If there weren't more injuries on this team, he would have been platooning Ramos whenever he can. He doesn't have the ability to really do that now, so he isn't, and he's leaving the guy out there, and he's actually producing. A guy that Farhan, if it were up to him, he probably wouldn't even be on the team. So I'm no huge fan of Farhan. Congratulations to the last holdover from the Bobby Evans decision-making machine. Looks like Ramos is officially making it. By the way, the A's are sending closer Mason Miller to the All-Star game. Their lone representative. The guy touches 103 on the gun. He's got he strikes out 46.5% of the batters he's faced, and hitters are hitting just 144 off of him. The guy is a flamethrower for the A's. So 3 All-Stars from the Bay. Won't be many seasons where you get to say that ever again if the A's really are relocating to Sacramento. I'm not even talking about the A's relocating to Las Vegas anymore. I don't think that that's going to happen. Relocating to Sacramento, maybe. That might happen. It looks like it is going to happen. Maybe they come back. I don't know. The whole thing is so screwed up. Cheers to you. As you all know, wake up happened, which means sip of the day is a thing of the past. Neither the Giants nor the A's actually play this Monday, July 8th. Giants dropped a pair of one-run games, lost 2 of 3 in Cleveland over the weekend, so they're back to 3 games under 500. The A's scored 19 runs on Saturday against Baltimore. Should have saved some of those for the other 2 games because they dropped the other 2 games in that series. The Giants are going to conclude their first half with a 6-game homestand starting Tuesday night, Toronto, and then Minnesota. That is a last-place American League East team coming in, and a 50-win ball club in the Minnesota Twins. It'll be interesting to see what Carlos Correa looks like spending a little time at the ballpark, a ballpark that was very, very close to being his own ballpark. Carlos Correa, by the way, has been named to the American League All-Star team. The A's got a 6-game East Coast roadie beginning Tuesday. Boston and Philadelphia. Boston sitting on 49 wins. Pretty good baseball team. And the Phillies are an absolute freaking monster right now. The Phillies are a monster. So good luck with that. Oakland. The only other bit of baseball news that I have for you, because if we talk baseball any longer, I can feel people just clicking off the channel. The Giants made a move on Sunday night. And believe it or not, Austin Slater was the longest tenured Giant. He is no longer here. Austin Slater traded to the Cincinnati Reds for left-handed pitcher Alex Young, who immediately gets sent to AAA. There wasn't a roster space waiting for him because that roster space is about to be occupied by Blake Snell, who will be starting the series against the Blue Jays. So we'll see if Blake Snell actually has it within him to become a benefit in any way, shape, or form to the Giants. He has done nothing to help this team so far. We'll see what he does. But believe it or not, Slater, the longest tenured Giant, no longer a San Francisco Giant. He's going to Cincinnati. You know, look, good guy, not a very good player. Whenever he gets anything going, unfortunately, he hurts himself, and that either brings a good streak of baseball to an end or he has trouble finding that good streak of baseball in the first place. Austin Slater is one of those guys who's going to have a totally forgettable 10-year-long major league career. I mean, there's worse work in the world if you can find it. But there you go. Austin Slater no longer a Giant. Alex Young actually pitched, spending part of 2002 with the Giants. He did pitch well out of their bullpen, made 63 appearances last season for the Reds, only 3 this season. He had been on the 60-day injured list. So, you know, what is he going to bring? Is he anything? Not much. And neither was Austin Slater, to be totally honest with you. So there you go. There are the transactions you need to know about and maybe need to make, or maybe not. I don't care. What we do have for you is a transaction that I'd like you to make come lunchtime, and that's have a transaction with my man Ike, because he's got a delicious sandwich waiting for you. I hope you've downloaded that Ike's Reward app and you're eating your way towards free sandwiches whenever you order on the app to either be delivered or picked up at most Ike's locations. You are earning your way towards free sandwiches. My man Ike is something delicious for you. And oh, by the way, if you're heading down to the ballpark, that Ike's in the new Visa building, it's open. They haven't even done the grand opening yet, but that place is serving sandwiches, and you can pick up a sandwich before a game, after a game, going to a Giants game. Think about getting Ike's. You should be thinking about getting Ike's no matter where you are, to be totally honest with you. And I hope you're thinking about making Plus Mania 4. We will be giving you the details and dates at the end of this week. I still got to talk to Kenny and nail it all down, but it's going to go down at the Dubliner West Portal. That is our bar, baby. The Dubliner and West Portal loves the Damon Brew Show, and the Damon Brew Show loves the Dubliner and West Portal right back. Good people, good drinks, great spot. And you will find out, hopefully, when you come and join us. Plus Mania 4, location announced. It's happening at the Dubliner West Portal. Date and time, you'll get that by the end of the week. So thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to everyone who supports the show with a membership. You support the show by supporting my sponsors, liking, subscribing. Oh, that's a great way to help out the show as well. And I thank you very, very much for doing so. Like we were saying, 49ers rookies are reporting to training camp in 8 days. Thank God. Thank God. Life without football is hardly worth living. I got to be honest with you. And to me, that rookies reporting for training camp, veterans coming up to training camp a week after that to me is when the new NFL year begins. Some people will tell you, well, it's actually when the new calendar year flips over. So there's that. There's some people who think that it's the draft that begins the next NFL year. There's some people who think free agency is how you begin. To me, it's training camp. That's the guys you want have been picked. The free agents you want to pay have been paid, and everyone is here now. And now we're going to whittle down to 53 and separate the pros from the close to being pros. That is, to me, the beginning of a new year, and we're almost at Happy New Year when it comes to the 49ers and the NFL. Can't wait for the league to get going again. I got to tell you, the Brandon Aiyuk situation is just, it's a lingering fart. It just won't go away. There's no amount of Glade or air freshener that is going to get this thing out of the room. Crack the window, for goodness sakes. I'm so sick and tired of talking about the little goofy things that Brandon Aiyuk is doing to draw attention to himself. What did he do over this weekend? Well, this weekend, he decided to post some Washington Commander practice footage. Number one, where did he get that? Number two, why does he think he can share that? Number three, are the 49ers going to be in trouble in any way that a player on their roster is sharing other team practice footage? So those are questions that kind of pop up in my mind first. We all know that the man is looking for attention. We all know that Brandon Aiyuk wants us talking about him. And Brandon Aiyuk is trying to leverage some public outrage because he doesn't have much leverage here against the 49ers, who, as I said on Wake Up, could basically just put two piles in front of him at the negotiating table and just say, look, Brandon, here's how it's going to go down. Over here in this pile, none of the individual years might equal the $30 million you're looking for, but we have guaranteed generational wealth money and a multi-year deal that will pay out, if you see every single year of it, north of $100 million. We are going to change your life and the life of every Aiyuk that comes after you based on the generational wealth we are willing to guarantee you right now, and let's go try to win a Super Bowl. That's pile A. In pile B, it's really not a pile. It's just a Post-it note. And on the front of the Post-it note, it says $14.5 million option. And on the back of the Post-it note, it says, and then we'll franchise you. So we can do it that way. We can do it that way. The trade is something we don't even need to consider until you start being the I'm holding out level of hard to deal with in this negotiation. Then maybe we'll consider a trade. But these are your two options to consider, Brandon, before we really consider you being somewhere else. And if being somewhere else is now the most important thing to you, well, you're giving us a lot of indications that that means more to you than trying to win a Super Bowl with us. So we'll accommodate you. Like, we've already drafted conceptually your replacement anyways. We'll just accelerate that timeline. And how do you want to play this? Like, do you really want to be a Washington Commander? Really? So you can be with a guy whose best college football came when he left your Arizona State program? You want to be with a guy who you think is going to take your career to the next level, and Jaden Daniels, and at the same time, Jaden Daniels hasn't even proved that he's going to bring his career to the next level with the Washington Commanders? Nothing proves that you can play in the NFL until you're in the NFL playing real live regular season games. I don't care about training camp production. I don't care about preseason production until it's week one and defensive linemen are coming after you like no fucking joke. I don't know whether or not you can even play in this league. So for Brandon Aiyuk to say the guy I need to bring my career to the next level is Jaden Daniels, I mean, it's insane. It's stupid. That's stupid. It really is. It's very stupid. I mean, look, you might be right, but odds are he's wrong. The numbers Just the history of football says that there is a greater chance of Jaden Daniels failing than succeeding. That's not me being a hater. That's me looking at football history and draft picks. The chances of you not making it in the NFL far outweigh the chances of you making it in the NFL. I don't care where you're drafted. Don't care where you're drafted or how excited everyone is about you. Commanders practice film on TikTok. What's Aiyuk thinking? What's Aiyuk? Are you literally trying to get yourself in trouble with two teams? I mean, it's just in the history of, all right, so this is modern negotiation. You're going to have some guys get very, very public about their demands, and you know they're trying to make a documentary about what their offseason looks like, which Brandon Aiyuk is apparently trying to do here. But in the history of all new age negotiation, we know that flushing the team accounts from your Instagram pages, like that doesn't even raise an eyebrow anymore. That's standard operating procedure. That is the opening gambit to modern sports negotiations. Oh my God, even Klay Thompson took the Warriors off of his Instagram page. And I mean, like, it happens. It happens. I've never seen another team or a player post like footage from another team's practice before. You watch, there's going to be some discipline on that. We have not heard the end of that, I don't think. Gosh, the only other thing I have for you from the NFL is just the tragic story that is the story of Kyrie Jackson, who was a 4th-round pick from the Minnesota Vikings, and he and 2 of his friends were killed early Saturday morning in a car crash that they don't seem to be responsible for. It looks like they were the victims of someone else's poor driving, drunk drive. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they didn't hit anybody. Someone hit them, and all 3 men are dead. A 24-year-old 4th-round NFL draft pick. You've got the entire world in front of you. An opportunity that is so hard to come by and so incredibly rare. What a crying shame. The other 2 guys are also just 23, 24-year-old. We call them men. Those are still boys. Those are still boys almost. And it's just, that's the worst. That's the worst. There's no good time, to die on a roadway. I wouldn't want someone who are 100 years old to die sitting in a passenger seat in a car crash, even though they're at the end of their life. There's no good time for it to just all be turned out. You want a goodbye. But for young men just on the launching pads of their life, early 20s, you got all the developmental shit basically behind you. You now are becoming the young man that you are going to be. And this is really the start of it all. And it's all just gone. Oh. Again, as someone with kids now, I can't even imagine what those parents are going through. Thoughts and prayers to them. All 3 of those families. But Kyrie Jackson, with all of that bright future in front of him, never even gets to try. That is just awful. Again, there's always bad news around 4th of July. It historically does come from football players who are just looking to get the yayas out one more time before training camp starts, and they buckle down and get ready to strap it on for the season that's coming. Like football players going a little loose during 4th of July weekend. There's always like a fight or a DUI or a something. It happens in the NBA. Somebody goes a little too far. They're at Summer League in Vegas, make a bad choice, blah, 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 blah. Like that's normal stuff. To be that tragic, just awful. Absolutely awful. So to all those families, man. All those families. That is just the worst. Lori Matthews says, drunk driving is unacceptable. Get an Uber. I don't even know who was drunk. I don't even know if the person in the other car that hit them were drunk. I don't know. I don't need to know. Just the whole thing is so freaking tragic. Just awful. 3 young men just gone. Freaking terrible. See so many great names here, so many regulars, so many friends of ours, so many Plus Mania attendees in the chat today. Thank you all for being here. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you have, consider becoming part of the initiated. With a monthly membership to the Plus. Very, very excited. Very excited about the coming football season. Can't wait. Can't wait to get down to Santa Clara, bring you behind the doors a little bit, the window of training camp. Looking forward to that. I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. I'm also getting ready for the Olympics. You know, I'm consuming some of this Olympic run-up. I love watching some of the younger guys, especially when it's like Brandon Pajemski and Trace Jackson-Davis out on the court training with Team USA as the competition to get them ready. Some funny things coming out of all the pre-Olympic media that's being done. Steph Curry was asked, can you spin a ball on your finger? Like, you know, just start spinning it. Just start spinning, you know, do, 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 do. Harlem Globetrotter stuff, right? He's like, I can't do it. Joel Embiid can't do it. Tyrese Halliburton can't do it. I guess everyone else in the Olympic team can spin a basketball on their finger. They did it when they were asked to anyways. But there you go. There's the one thing with the basketball Steph Curry definitely can't do well. Maybe the only thing with a basketball that he definitely can't do well. And that brings me to Steph Curry actually talking about his future. Because this is interesting. Steph Curry, as we've always suspected, you know, when talking about his future, he says, quote, I want to be greedy and say that we can be relevant and be in the mix and give ourselves a realistic chance to win while I'm still growing these gray hairs and doing high school visits in the Bay for my daughter. It's crazy. It's just the nature of where I'm at. But yes, all that to say I love the Bay and the Bay is home and I never want that to change. Steph Curry leaves the door open for NBA business to happen around his NBA career, but he's also slammed the door shut on any wanderlust coming from him in pursuit of what's my next opportunity outside of the Golden State Warriors? Can I get closer to winning somewhere else than I will again staying right here? And Steph has done the math, and he's right. His work checks out. Steph Curry pursuing a championship doesn't affect his legacy in another uniform in a greater fashion than just having your entire career with the Golden State Warriors. That is rare. That is special. And Steph knows it. And he doesn't want to go anywhere. And why would he? He is being paid like $58-60 million a year to play basketball in a place that he now calls his home. He loves it in the Bay. So he's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. That's good. That's good for all of us. That officially gets a... Oy, oy, oy! Yeah, that's good news. That's what we were looking for. That's what we wanted. Just hopping into the chat, looking at some stuff here. Sven. Hello, Sven. Says, safe to say, Ramos is here to stay, obviously, but do you see him making a legacy for himself going forward now that his career has really begun and now solidified with an all-star? Well, look, you know, I'm a big believer in look good, feel good, play good. He looks good. He's certainly got to feel good. Hopefully that'll continue him playing good. I like Ramos. I like Ramos an awful lot. I mean, a legacy? Like, what are we talking about? Like forever giant? plaque on the wall, perennial all-star. I don't know, man. Baseball is such a weird sport. It is the ultimate here today, gone tomorrow sport. When it looks like a guy who's totally figured out one year comes back the next year and doesn't even look like he can do it anymore. Like Blake Snell goes from wins a Cy Young to unimpressive to win another Cy Young to can't pitch. Sounds like he's going to be due for another Cy Young after that. So hopefully he moves on to the another Cy Young after that, right here in the beginning of this disastrous year that he's having with the San Francisco Giants. By Victor, we get a massive haul for Steph. The haul for Steph isn't as valuable to the Warriors as Steph. He's not. He's not. So the massive haul for Steph that you might have the guts to do when you're playing NBA 2K, it's totally different when you're trying to fill a building at expensive price points every night to come and watch this guy. Steph isn't going anywhere. They're not trading Steph Curry. And look, Curry doubts that there's going to be another NBA dynasty anytime soon. He was quoted this in Las Vegas saying, people thought that this was over in 2019, but 2022 was an amazing championship because we defied the odds. That's 11 years, almost 12 years of championship relevancy built around a certain core. Now, I'll never say never, but dynasty like the Warriors, yeah, I will say that. That'll never happen again. Maybe a team can stumble onto a dynasty somehow, some way that leaves them in an element of financial openness that doesn't constrict what their dynasty might be. Because there are rules now in the NBA that basically are the Joe Lacob, you ain't going to have a dynasty rules. So there's all that in play. But when you look at all the things that had to come together for the Warriors to just have their last decade plus, first of all, it all starts in the draft where, you know, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, the Golden State Warriors struck future Hall of Famer level lightning 3 times in the draft without ultra premium draft picks. You know, ultra premium, top 3, top 5. None of these guys came from there, and we all know Draymond came from the second round. So you have to have 3 unbelievable future Hall of Fame draft picks, all within a handful of seasons of each other. So you got to start there. Then you got to align them with the most perfect coach ever for the flavor of the team, the personality of the team, and for the changing evolution in the NBA. So you need to have all of the players and a coach who isn't afraid to play a different style of basketball that no one's ever really seen before. So not only do you have to have the talent, but you also have the place and time where you are changing the way the game is played forever. So the Warriors have that head start on the league. They've found the new way to play basketball with 3 future Hall of Fame players and the perfect coach to let them play a level of basketball that no one else around the league is really playing, but soon everyone will be copying. So you got to be the first to a new way to do it with an excellent amount of homegrown talent. Then you have to have the stars align to deliver the caliber of a player like Kevin Durant. And part of those stars aligning is you have to have a player the caliber of Kevin Durant, wired like Kevin Durant, which I'm going to say has never really happened before in basketball history. There has never been a guy as good as Kevin Durant who's like, yeah, sure, I'll go play with someone else. You know, instead of being the refrigerator and you put all your magnets on me, I'm going to be a magnet that gets placed on another refrigerator. Like, that is, you have to have a guy as good as Kevin Durant, thinking like Kevin Durant, and most guys in the history of basketball as good as Kevin Durant don't think like Kevin Durant was thinking when he joined the Warriors. Beyond that, to just land Kevin Durant, you need a brand new media contract pumping a huge increase in cap space into the year where the ability to sign a player like Durant just happens to be right in front of you. So the stars have to align there. And the other thing that you need is a future Hall of Fame talent who had a trick ankle, which prevents him from making max money. And then you got an MVP, winning MVPs, making $11 million a year. But for Steph Curry's trick ankle, the cap space to make all of this happen does not exist. So these are impossible to replicate in another moment in time data points. Totally impossible to replicate what the Warriors did, how they did it, and how it all came together. That will never happen again. So you then need all of that magic to hit. All of that magic will never be lined up to hit like that ever again in NBA history. And then for all of that magic to repeat itself in an unrepeatable situation, you would then need the owner that Joe Lacob was, where he just said, oh yeah, we got problems. I'm just going to throw money at it. Money to infinity to keep whoever we want, sign whoever we want, luxury tax, be damned. I am in, I am paying, fuck it all. So you need that too. And a new arena. What other team's going to have that? And oh, by the way, even if you had all that, you can't spend money like Joe Lacob used to spend anymore. They have a new rule called the second apron of luxury tax that should be called the Joe Lacob rule, the Lacob clause. You know, the NBA is basically going to prevent owners who want to win as bad as Joe Lacob, who wanted to throw as much money at winning as Joe Lacob did. The NBA is going to prevent that from ever happening again with such a punitive tax coming in that second apron that you'd only be a fool to go into it. So there you go. Steph Curry is right. There will never be another dynasty in professional basketball like the Warriors. There will be some dynasty somewhere, but it ain't going to be like the Warriors. It won't be built like the Warriors are going to be built, and how that happens or how it stays together, I do not now know with this ridiculous second apron. One other NBA thing, only because he was ours and then he was a Maverick, just like Klay Thompson. But Harrison Barnes is finding himself in a new city after the Kings made a several-team trade to land DeMar DeRozan, which, by the way, is a move that I like for the Kings. I like DeMar DeRozan. Harrison Barnes is now heading to San Antonio. That's where he's going to wrap up his career. Harrison Barnes on court is an all right basketball player who is not going to really change your season in any way that can be directly tied to his production. I'm not saying he's unproductive. He's just not a chemistry changing player in terms of, well, you were going to win 38 games. Now you're going to win 48 games. That's not who he is. What Harrison Barnes is, though, is a pro's pro. He is a professional basketball player with impeccable work ethic. He's a professional basketball player who knows how to communicate with a front office, with coaches, with teammates, with game staff, with game night staff, with security, with media, with parking lot attendants. Harrison Barnes is one of the true, proper gentlemen in the game today. And if you wanted to have like a, I wouldn't mind my daughter dating that guy example, Harrison Barnes is the perfect example of that. This is the guy you want your daughter bringing home. This is my new boyfriend, Harrison Barnes. By the way, Harrison Barnes is married. Nobody's bringing him home. But this is a Boy Scout. I don't think Chris Paul is a Boy Scout, but Chris Paul has got all sorts of, savvy, like a fox, business acumen, president of the Players Association level, veteran, Hall of Famer credentials spoken for. And now Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes are heading to San Antonio, and I can't think of two better examples for Victor Wembanyama to be influenced by this early in his career. If Victor Wembanyama was 5 years away from being the best player on planet Earth, I'm moving that up to now he's just 4 years away. I don't know how much impact Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes are going to have on the Spurs season, but they could have incredible impact on Victor Wembanyama. These two guys have been there, done that, and seen everything in this league. Everything. So I really like those moves for the San Antonio Spurs. They're still not going to be a playoff team, but Victor Wembanyama has a couple of, I believe the kids in basketball call them old heads to seek advice from. And that's going to be a good thing. That's going to be a really good thing. One last NBA story, one final story here of the day. Have you seen that Big Baby Davis is looking forward to prison? This is a great story to wrap up on here today. So the 38-year-old former NBA player is heading to prison soon. Why is Glenn Big Baby Davis going to prison? Well, Davis and over 20 other former players were convicted last November for defrauding the NBA's healthcare system. The players had claimed over $5 million in fake insurance claims, and Glenn Big Baby Davis gets sentenced to 40 months in prison, and he needs to repay $80,000 in restitution. But he's going to prison for 40 months pending an appeal here. And if you were to ask him about it, I don't even know if he's interested in the appeal. Because prison has an appeal to Glenn Big Baby Davis. Not my words, his. Quote, I guess some TMZ guy got him talking about this when asked if he was preparing for his moment to go off to prison. You would have thought like Glenn Big Baby Davis was asked if he's looking forward to going and spending a little time at Fat Camp this summer. He says, I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat, how I'm going to live, and I'm not nervous. I feel like I'm going to have a good quality time in there. Learn things, meet new people. It's going to be all right. I mean, you want to talk about making lemonade out of lemons. Yeah, I'm going to meet new people that I've never met before because they've been in prison. Now I'm going to be in prison with them, so I'm going to have a whole new group of prison friends. But Glenn Big Baby Davis, who is always known for his girth, is saying, hey, man, I'm going to go to prison. I'm going to get my 3 squares. I'm going to work out. I'm going to use my time in prison to not order DoorDash or Uber Eats or go to a restaurant or have the 7-course tasting menu. And I'm going to get lean, mean. I'm going to get to my fighting weight in prison. Okay. I guess this is the best way to make it sound like it's going to be good. Sporticus. Big Baby might not be the best prison nickname, just saying. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. But that good old prison diet, I guess he's looking forward to it. The former Celtic center added that he has a huge goal for himself while locked up in there to get shredded, and Big Baby implored the ladies to write him. Ladies, the mailbox is open. He is looking to come out of prison, fine as hell. Quote, when I get out, call me Big Baby Jailbait. Like, I can't lie. I love the attitude. It's about the most positive take on I'm going to a 40-month prison stay as I've ever heard. Again, he's not going to jail. He's going to federal pound you in the ass prison. Shout out Office Space. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. I've never heard never heard anyone figure out, like, yeah, this could be great for me. Get to meet new people, very calorie restrictive diet, get to work out a lot. This is going to be great. Something tells me Glenn Big Baby Davis hasn't experienced anything like prison in a really, really long time. That guy's been living a good life, sleeping in nice thread count sheets for a very, very long time, eating well, drinking well, living well, playing well, living well and playing well so much that he needed to try to defraud the NBA over millions of dollars in fake insurance. So I don't know how great things are going, but this is the most sunny side up, I'm going off to prison thing I've ever heard. So I would like to wish Glenn Big Baby Davis the very, very best and come out big baby jailbait. I hope it works out for you. I really, really do. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I hope this week works out for you. Again, we're putting together a guest or two for later in the week. I think my friend Cyrus is going to come on by to talk about the Warriors on Wednesday. There are a few other tricks I have up my sleeve. By the end of the week, we will have announced Plus Mania 4 to get that in your calendars. I know a lot of people are requesting, Damon, Saturday or Sunday, I need this on a weekend. It's going to be on a weekend. Just don't know which yet, but it's coming. We'll try to get Larry there. We'll try to bring in, we'll try maybe Guy Haberman, who I'm trying to connect with soon, do a little something soon. We'll try to get all the local vagabond content creators maybe together, hanging out at the Dubliner for you to stop on by and meet. But in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you're planning on being back here on Tuesday at 11 a.m. West Coast time for another Damon Bruce show. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. And please do remember that if you're going to jail, come out big baby jailbait. And that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.